What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and today I'm reviewing the brand new Nike Vapormax Flyknit 3. I'm pretty sure it was November of last year that we got the Vapormax 2019, which I think we all thought was the Vapormax 3. But apparently that's not the case because Nike just dropped the Vapormax 3. And this sneaker definitely makes more sense as the follow-up to the Vapormax 2 than the Vapormax 2019 does, because this sneaker features a Flyknit upper and that one featured like a plasticky mesh upper. Regardless, I've reviewed every Vapormax since the Vapormax 1 and up to this point, I haven't really liked them. But can the Vapormax 3 make me change my mind and actually like the Vapormax series? No, not really. Especially not this colorway. I think this colorway is the worst. That said though, I do have to admit that the Vapormax 3 is probably my favorite Vapormax out of all the previous Vapormaxes. So jumping right into the upper of this sneaker, you find the first reason why I actually preferred this Vapormax to the previous ones, and that's this updated Flyknit upper. I find it pretty funny that the knit pattern on the Vapormax 3 looks very similar to the knit pattern on the Ultra Boost 3.0. I'm not gonna say it was on purpose, but I definitely think it's kind of an odd coincidence. Besides just looking like the prime knit upper of an Ultra Boost 3.0 or 4.0, it actually kind of feels like it as well, which in my opinion is a very good thing. This Flyknit upper actually feels a little bit more stretchy than standard Flyknit, and it also seems like it's a little bit more durable and supportive. Rather than your standard one-layer Flyknit that you have on all the previous Vapormaxes, it actually looks like they added these extra thick ribs for more structure, which in my opinion really helps. As I already mentioned, I don't love this colorway, and it's nothing against any of the individual colors. I like them all individually, but when you put this sort of neon pink with this kind of sparkly blue, and yes, it is sparkly, which is kind of weird, it doesn't look good together. And this is actually the men's colorway that dropped. The women's colorway is gray and pink, which I actually think looks better. Not my thing, but it obviously doesn't take away from the performance of the shoe. Continuing back on the shoe, you've got these bright neon pink flywire cables which wrap through the upper of the sneaker, and when you tighten the laces, which weave through these flywire cables, you actually pull the entire upper of the shoe together, which gives you a very nice one-to-one fit. As you would probably expect, and you've probably experienced with other Flyknit shoes, this upper feels great on foot. It's very stretchy, it's very soft, it feels like a sock actually, which is amazing, and it's breathable, which again is great in the summer. Underneath the laces, you have this thin black Flyknit tongue, which is very comfortable, and at the top of the tongue, you have this stitched on metallic silver patch, which apparently is inspired by Apollo spacesuits. On top of the patch, you've got this light blue pull tab with this neon pink branding. Inside the sneaker, your foot is pretty much just up against raw prime knit, which is actually more comfortable than it sounds. There isn't really any padding on the upper to speak of, but you still get some pretty solid heel lockdown, and the upper contours to your foot very nicely. The insole of the shoe comes in pink with light blue Vapormax branding on the heel. As for fit, the Vapormax 3 fit me pretty much true to size. I didn't have any complaints whatsoever. But everyone's feet are different, so I would definitely suggest going down to your local sneaker store, trying on a pair of Vapormax 3s for yourself to make sure you're grabbing the right size for you. However, if you already have a pair of Vapormax 1s or 2s, these fit exactly the same. Continuing back on the shoe to the midfoot, you've got this glued on neon pink Nike swoosh. I hate to say it, but one thing I actually really love about this sneaker is how the flywire peeks through the Flyknit upper. I don't love the way it looks on this colorway, but maybe if it was a black Flyknit upper with some neon green flywire, or even red flywire for that matter, I think it would look dope. Contrasting the rest of the upper around the top of the ankle, you've got this smooth black Flyknit, which I've got to be honest, I kind of wish they had kept the same shade of blue as the rest of the upper, because even though it matches with the heel counter, it kind of looks like you're wearing a pair of extra socks. Speaking of the heel counter, you've got this thin black piece of rubber, or maybe a thick piece of fuse overlay, I'm not exactly sure what it is. The heel counter actually has the same shape as the Vapormax 1, which I appreciate because I think the Vapormax 2's heel counter just doesn't look that good. Just below that, you've got this semi-translucent blue TPU heel clip, which actually gives you a surprising amount of heel lockdown, which I appreciated. Nike actually uses the same exact heel clip on the Epic React 2.0, so if you've worn those, you know exactly what this feels like. Then moving around to the heel of the sneaker, you've got this bright blue pull tab with the Vapormax branding in neon pink. Then continuing down the sneaker, you get to what usually is my least favorite part of the Vapormax, and actually still is, the Vapormax midsole. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this Vapormax midsole looks like a mouthguard. It looks like you're wearing a mouthguard on your feet. However, looks aside, this Vapormax midsole on the Vapormax 3 actually feels better than the previous Vapormaxes, and I don't know why that is. If you look at the outsole of the sneaker, you can see where they added some black rubber areas, which are actually more durable and give you more traction in those areas. And traditionally, these areas of the outsole don't compress as much as the blue areas of the outsole because there's just more material there. And that's been my problem with all the previous Vapormaxes. The outsole of the sneaker has compressed in places I didn't want it to compress and made me feel very unstable, and it just didn't work for my foot shape. That made previous models of the shoe feel super unstable and actually made me feel like I had to do work when walking, which is a really weird feeling. The Vapormax 3, however, feels different, and I don't know if that's just because I'm having a good day or maybe it's a placebo effect, but for whatever reason, I'm not having as many issues with this shoe as I was with previous versions. And my only two guesses as to why that could be is that they either added more air in the midsole to make it a little bit stiffer, or they just literally stiffened up the rubber around the air units. And I actually think that second option might be what it is, because the rubber feels different than it did previously and it doesn't feel as soft. Again, it could all just be me. I could just be feeling things. I don't know what it is, but for whatever reason, I didn't dislike this shoe as much as I did previous versions. In fact, I actually kind of like the way it felt. That said though, I still think this outsole looks terrible, and you really do have to be careful when walking up and down stairs because these ridges do catch. But other than that, I mean, this outsole doesn't feel bad. Overall, the Vapormax 3 is a surprising upgrade over the previous Vapormaxes. The Flyknit upper somehow feels softer and yet more durable and more supportive. The air units feel stiffer but more comfortable. Yes, the sneaker doesn't look that great, at least in this colorway, but I've seen some of the future colorways that are coming out, and they actually look pretty good. In my opinion, if you're buying a Vapormax, the Vapormax 3 is the way to go. The Vapormax 3 isn't cheap though. It retails for $190, and as of right now, there's no pairs on sale. But if you really feel like you need a Vapormax and you don't mind the older air units, go for a pair on sale because you can find some pretty good colorways for pretty decent prices. But that pretty much wraps up the review for today. Now, I would love to know your thoughts on the Nike Vapormax Flyknit 3 and whether it's a shoe that you consider grabbing, so make sure to leave those comments in the comment section down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe down below if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.